Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to today's episode of the Flow Show, episode 2. Thank you so much for joining me live. And if you happen to be watching this on the replay, thank you for showing up and coming to check us out on the replay. As you come on, be sure to say hi to me and drop me a wave emoji in the comments so that I know you are here. We are on today's episode, we are going to be covering the 6 systems that are essential to your business, big or small. It doesn't matter what size your business is. These are 6 systems that should already be present in your business. And as I stated last week when we were talking about the 4 pillars to building a business that can thrive without you, one of the things that I covered was the difference between processes and systems, how they are not the same. You have your systems and you have your processes within those systems, and every business, regardless of the size, has every system already that it needs. And so as a small business, you may only have these 6 systems. You may have other systems. As your business starts to grow, then you'll acquire or set up the systems that you need to manage your business and manage the growth in your business. As a big business, you may have many systems, way more systems than the 6 that we're going to cover here. But these are 6 that are essential to everybody. And even as a small business, you may have more than just these 6. So we're going to get started. Let me know if you're here. Say hi to me and just let me know where you are watching from. Right now, I am in Houston, and it looks like it's overcast. I don't know, it may rain, but it's usually just hot here, just hot for no reason. But let me know in the comments where you are watching for. And if you're excited to be here and learn about these 6 systems in your business, just drop excited in the comments and I'll go ahead and get started. So the first system, and these are not in any particular order, no order of importance. These are just 6 systems randomly in your business. And the first system that we're going to talk about is your communication system, because that is important, and it may actually be number 1. And it's because we need to make sure that our communications are tight across the board. This is communications inside your business with your team or employees, your communication with your customers. That's really key, because you want to make sure that you're always on the same page, that you understand what your customers need and that you're providing what your customers need, and make sure that your customers understand how to do business with you, how to get the product or service that you deliver. So you want to make sure that those communication systems, make sure your policies and procedures around communications is tight. Your communications with your suppliers and vendors. Make sure that you have written documentation on how you communicate with your suppliers and vendors, so that you know what their expectations are as far as when they get paid, how they get paid. And when you keep the lines of communication open, when something happens, like now, we're in the pandemic and so many businesses were impacted, large and small. When you have that line of communication and a relationship established with your suppliers and vendors, then it's easier for you to to make arrangements, or let them know if you're having a hard time and you need to make arrangements on your payments, or keep that line of communication open so that you work out a way to continue to get supplies. If you're a product-based business, make sure that you have a way to continue to get the supplies that you need, so that you can continue to make your products or whatever it is. Hi Kiva, I see that you have joined us. Hi Fernell. Thank you for joining us, and I'm excited too, Fernell. This is some very, very important information, because if we don't have these systems clearly documented, or if we don't recognize the importance of these systems, it can really cause problems in our business. Part of your communication systems, whether it's internal or external, is the way you handle your emails, the way you handle your phone calls, how your customers contact you if they have a question about your product or service, if they have an issue and they need to, even if it's a complaint, they need to know how to get in contact with you, whether it's on your website, by email, whether you have an online support form, or maybe you take phone calls, because a lot of businesses still take phone calls. But your customers need to know how to communicate with you. How do you communicate inside your organization? Is it email? Do you have instant messenger? Is it by phone? If you have a virtual team, you need to have that communication process established and documented, so that there are never any issues or questions about how something is to be communicated in your business. Emails, that's very important. How you manage your email system, not just from a communications perspective, but from a time management perspective. It can be overwhelming if you have too many emails. If you're not answering your emails, then that can cause problems in communication, because you may miss something very important, whether it's an email from a customer, or maybe somebody's trying to give you some money. You know, if you miss that and miss deadlines, that can hurt your business. So you need to have those policies documented. Even how you answer the phone. If you take phone calls in your business, have a policy on that to make sure that whoever is answering your phone calls answers the phone the same way. And your customers always know what to expect when they contact your business. The second system that we're going to talk about is your marketing and sales. Now, I said that these weren't in any particular order, and that none is more important than the other. But if you're not making any sales, you really don't have any business. So you need to make sure that you have a policy documented on that, have guidelines around your marketing procedures, have processes documented on sales, how you manage your sales. If you're not doing this process right, then you have no leads, you have no customers, and this is essentially how your business makes money. And so your marketing and sales system needs to be structured and not just done all willy-nilly. And that's how a lot of us do it. We put out our product, we may post it on social media and wait for somebody to buy. And that's how we handle it. We don't have any guidelines. We don't know. We get a sale or two, or maybe we get 10 one day, but we don't have a repeatable, structured process on how to do the same thing tomorrow and the day after that. And so you need to have a sales funnel, whether that's online or offline. You can have a sales funnel that's not on the computer. That could be as simple as having an ad posted somewhere, and the call to action could be having people call you or come into your business. But you need to have a documented sales funnel or a sales flow, so that it's clear how your customer moves through the customer journey from prospect or lead to becoming a customer, to buying from you. Part of your funnel or your marketing and sales processes, what you have documented, it may include social media. Are you doing social media marketing? Are you advertising on line on Facebook using Google Ads? Are you going to be advertising using YouTube? However you utilize the internet or social media, those processes need to be documented within those systems. And it's important that you understand the systems and identify the systems that are present in your business so that when you start to hire, or if you have a team, you can plug people right into those systems. They know what to expect and they know how to do the job that you need them to do. Hi, Patrina. Glad you are here. Still on marketing and sales, if you are a consultant or if you do bulk orders and you have quotas or quotes that you issue before you make a sale, those processes within that system need to be documented, the way you negotiate. And for some of us, negotiations may be our strong suit, and we may feel like nobody can close a deal the way we can. Just about everything can be streamlined and documented. So make sure that you take the time to have a guideline, have your systems and processes in place with regard to how you negotiate with a client. How far will you go? What will you give away? What concessions will you make? Those things are important to have documented as well. So let me know before I go on if you're finding this information valuable so far. If so, just type valuable in the comments and I will keep going after I take a drink of water. Okay, customer service. Again, I said no particular order, but all of these are important. That's why they are the 6 key systems that that every business needs to have, or that are essential in every business, no matter how big or small it is. Customer service, that is how you deliver the customer experience. How you communicate with your customers, how you treat your customers, how the products are delivered, making sure that everything is done in excellence so that your customers have a great experience when they work with you or when they buy from you, so that they tell others, they refer others. It is a lot cheaper to maintain the customers and clients that you already have than it is to go out and prospect for additional customers. So you want to treat your customers in a way that it's not impossible or difficult to continue to have them pay you on a monthly basis if that's how your business operates, or to have them continue to come back and buy more from you. You want to make sure that it's clear. Again, when we talked about communications, it's clear how they get in touch with you, clear how they let you know that you're doing a good job. Do you have a review site, a way for them to leave a review about your business, whether it's on Facebook or Trustpilot or Yelp? Just always make sure that how you deal with your customers is documented, again, because the goal is to get freedom. We get freedom by bringing on employees and team members. When we bring them on, we want everybody to be on the same page and to know how we expect our customers and clients to be treated. Because if you're away on that 4-week vacation, you don't want your customers to even notice. I know everybody has that ego and you want to feel like you're the most important thing in your business. As you start to grow, you want your customers to always have the same experience regardless of who they are dealing with in your company, so that when you are gone for an extended period of time, your team doesn't miss a beat and your clients are happy. There's nothing worse than an upset client or customer. And you want to make sure that within your system you have procedures for how refunds are handled. What's your response time when you have an inquiry or even a complaint? How long is it going to take you to get back to that customer? Do you have warranties? What does your client or customer need to do in order to make a claim on the warranty? If they need to have something replaced, what's the process for that? How is it handled? Who handles it? What are the details behind that? And again, complaints. How are your customer complaints handled? All of that needs to be documented because, again, an angry customer is bad news for your business and they can ruin your reputation. And reputation management is another process that needs to be documented in your system so that if something happens online, I mean, this is a cancel culture. Everybody is trying to cancel anybody just for a misunderstanding or one mistake or something, just miscommunication in general. So you want to make sure that you have a process in place so that, reputation management is handled, whether that's you outsource that or you have an online notification system to let you know when your name is being mentioned online. Financial operations. That is key because of two things. It's a key system because you need to manage how money is coming into your business. And you also need to manage that money once it comes into your business. Now, I'm going to step on a lot of toes here. So I'm warning you right now that this may hurt. But using Cash App and Venmo to collect money from your customers is not it. That's not it. Unless you're using the business versions of those, but I still wouldn't. And I know that Venmo's business app is very limited. It depends on the bank that you use and it depends on that bank's rules. But for the most part, you want to use something that has a reputation for being solid in the industry, whether that's Stripe or even PayPal. That's not something that one of my favorites, but PayPal is better than Venmo or Cash App. Square, or even having a merchant account from your bank or from a bank. Those are ways that are going to not only provide protection to the customer, but provide protection to you as well. If you have a customer for some reason who likes to always try to scam and get things free, and they are they're doing chargebacks and trying to get refunds after they get your product or service delivered, you want to make sure that you have your financial policies, your contracts or whatever in place, so that if you need to dispute their claim, that payment processor is going to have your back. Because so many times I've seen not just PayPal, even Stripe has been known to withhold funds. PayPal, I think that money goes away into Never Land and they never see it again. I think Stripe may hold it for 90 days, but you don't want to have your money held up for any reason at all. So make sure within your financial systems you have your contracts, documentations, invoices, all of that in place. So that's a part of the process within the financial system. And you'll find that just because we only have 6 systems, there could be hundreds of processes that need to be documented within these systems. So you need to identify which processes within these systems you have in your business, and just start making a note of them and documenting them. Within your financial systems, we talked about taking payments. How are you going to bill your customers? If you have customers or clients who aren't paying their invoices or bills, what's your collections process? And taxes. Because we all have to pay taxes. And again, when we get into our profit management system, our segment, you're going to learn how to make sure that your taxes are always covered in a way that doesn't hurt you. I think that's it on the financial systems. Having all of these things in place for your financial system, your processes and everything, it helps if you ever need to get a loan and you have that information that you can present to the lender to show them that you're on top of your finances, that you are responsible and that you are good for your payments. Your accounting system, I didn't mention that, but that's something that you also need to make sure that you have in place. I'm in a group of people, about 20 to 30,000 people who have applied for the SBA loan, some type of funding from SBA, and you would be surprised at how many people come into that group asking how will they show proof of how they spent the money if the SBA audits them. And you would think that it would be common knowledge that, bookkeeping, you should already have a bookkeeping system in place. If you don't have a bookkeeping system in place, that's something that you need to look at doing now. QuickBooks Online, Wave Apps is free. That's a system. Even if you just use a spreadsheet, that will be better than nothing. When I used to do taxes and financial services for daycare providers, I did a workshop for them on managing record keeping in their business. And I told them, at the very least, a shoebox, if you put it in a box, that's better than nothing. But we're aiming for excellence, so you want to be better than that. So look for a system online that's easy for you to use right now until you can outsource, that will help you manage your finances. Okay, are you enjoying this? Drop a fire emoji in the comments if you are enjoying this, if you're getting valuable insight, things that you can apply to your business right now. Let me know in the comments. And Patrina, you said you got yours. What is it that you have? Are you referring to your bookkeeping and record keeping? Let me know. If you are just coming on, be sure to say hi and let me know that you are here. And we are going to move on to the next system that is important and often overlooked in small businesses. Even I have been guilty of this, and mostly because of what I know already, but just what I know is not going to protect me or not guaranteed to protect me all the time. But our legal operations system, that is key to protecting yourself beyond having an LLC, beyond having liability insurance. You need to make sure that legally you are compliant, and that you have, this is an accounting term, but have all your ducks in a row so that you are protected. If you're doing business online, your website needs to have a solid privacy policy and terms and conditions. Try not to go with boilerplate templates that you can find online. You want to make sure you have them reviewed by an attorney or something that's been attorney reviewed, because in the event that you ever have to go to court, you want to make sure that they hold up. Your legal protection or legal systems, not just for your protection from your customers, but you may have to sue somebody. And so you want to make sure that you have a relationship. If you can't afford an attorney, I know with most small businesses, we're watching our coins. There are services like Legal Shield. When we get off of this training, every one of us, including me, should go to the Legal Shield website and check it out, see if that's something that we can use in our business. Stay away from LegalZoom. I know it can be helpful, but you want to make sure that it's something that you can talk to an attorney. Don't just go online. If LegalZoom has a service where you can talk to an attorney, great, but don't just go online and try to do it yourself. That's how a lot of small businesses end up in trouble and ruined. You could potentially lose everything you have if you're not doing everything the right way. Another thing for your website that a lot of business owners or just website owners don't know or they ignore is accessibility. So just like when you go into a shopping mall or to a shopping strip, you have your handicap signs, your parking spaces, you have accessibility features, maybe it's a ramp or something. At that location, your website needs to be set up in a way so that people with disabilities, whether they're blind or deaf or whatever other impairments they have, are addressed so that they can interact with your website. And if you don't have that and somebody comes to your site and files a complaint, you can face very, very hefty fines. So that's another thing that we need to research when we get off of this training. If you're doing business online, if you have a website, and not even if you're going to get somebody to do it right now, but just so that you know what you need to be working on to make sure that you are compliant. The final system that we're going to talk about is computers and IT. Everybody here has access to a computer or some type of device that has them connected to the rest of the world. If you have employees, if you have a team, and if it's just you or your team, your computer and information technology policy needs to address how your devices are used, how information is accessed. And I want to go back. That made me think about with your private, and you'll find this out when you look at your privacy policies. But that should cover how information is collected from your customers on your website, how you're using that information, how that information is stored, how it's protected. And that can also be a part of your computers and information technology policy. I'm not going to put anybody on the spot, and I'm not going to try to tell you that somebody's going to give you information for free. But just in case you have questions about IT and computers, I don't know, Kiva, she might be able to answer some of those questions for you. But your computers and IT, that policy, not only security, access and use, but your replacement. How often are you going to replace your physical equipment? Those are things that you would cover in your guidelines. What are your policies regarding backup? Say if you're working from home or if you're working from an office and there's a power surge, do you have a backup battery to make sure that you don't lose anything? Is your equipment covered by insurance? These are the things that you need to look at with regard to your computers and information technology. If you have a team that works virtually, your policies and guidelines need to cover, how information is accessed. Do you have a VPN? What other security measures you have? Your employees, wherever they are, whether they're in your office or virtual, what's your policy regarding social media use, and how they present themselves online? Again, that cancel culture is, they are vultures, and people are, if you say the wrong thing online, they're coming for you. They're contacting your job, and then you as an employer can be attacked because you have that person on your team. So all of those things need to be addressed. We may not give very much thought to it, but that's something that should be covered in your computer and IT policy. Patrina, yeah, I see a lot of people who use LegalZoom to start their LLC. You can do that free with the state Secretary of State, or just depending on where you are, however that's handled in your state. Unless you are forming a complex organization, you can just complete those documents online. Otherwise, if you have some kind of partnership or weird stipulations or arrangements, then you may need to consult an attorney to do that. Are there any questions so far? Those are all of the 6 systems that are essential to a small business. And I'll recap for those who are just coming on: your communication systems, how you communicate internally and externally, your marketing and sales, how are you attracting leads, how are you converting those leads, and how are you making money, because you need to have money in order to have your business running. That needs to be a structured, documented process so that it's repeatable and you're not waking up every day wondering where your next sale is going to come from. Customer service. How are you delivering the customer experience? What are you doing to make sure that it's excellence, that you're providing excellence in customer service? If you have a disgruntled customer, how are you going to handle that? Your financial operations. Stop using Cash App and Venmo. Get a reputable payment processor or a merchant account. Make sure that you have an accounting or bookkeeping system in place so that you're tracking your finances. Your legal operations. Make sure that you are compliant. You're operating within the law. Make sure your website is compliant. If you have a physical location, make sure you're compliant with that. Accessibility for people who have disabilities. Make sure that you have that covered. Make sure that you're not using LegalZoom if you're not able to talk to an attorney. Check into Legal Shield right now. If you can afford an attorney on retainer, start looking for one. Ask for recommendations. I'm sure we're all connected to other business owners. Somebody can give you a referral. Your computer and IT systems. That covers your equipment, your information systems, privacy, access, all of those things. So those are the 6 key systems essential in your business, no matter the size. Again, you could have way more systems than that, and within each of your systems, you can have 10 processes, or you can have 100 processes. So make sure you understand the difference between a system and a process, but how they work together to help you become successful and get you to that place where you are not trapped in your business and you have the freedom to focus on strategy and vision, because that's what we want to do. We want to be always working on our business instead of in it. And then we want to eventually get to the point where we don't even have to work on the business, because we have somebody who can step into that role, manage the business for us while we're still collecting a check and out living the life that we dreamed of, or starting another business somewhere. Yeah, $1,600 is a lot. And again, if you don't have a partnership or a complex setup, you can do it online with the Texas Secretary of State, and I think it's about $300, maybe $325. I don't know if it went up, but you can do it yourself. Okay, I don't see any more questions. Again, thank you for being here with me live. If you're watching this on the replay, be sure to drop replay in the comments. If you have any questions, drop those questions in the comments. If you're here live and you can't think of anything now, you can always come back and drop those and drop your questions in the comments, and we will get those answered. I want you all to be on the lookout, because I have something exciting coming up. It's not going to be announced until next week. Just know next Wednesday is my 50th birthday, and so I am going to be making an announcement. I wasn't going to say anything until next week, but the cat's out of the bag. But just keep your eyes and ears open for that. If you don't have any questions, again, thank you for showing up for episode 2 of the Flow Show. And you all have a great day and enjoy the rest of your week.